Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex. I am an artist and a knitter in San Antonio, Texas, and I am here today with episode 15 of Alex Likes to Knit. So this is just a series that I do a lot of other knitters on YouTube are also doing, where every now and then I sit down and just show you what I'm working on and kind of how everything's going, talk through my projects and about ideas that I have for the future. So that is what we're going to do today. It's been at least 2 weeks since I've recorded episode 14 and I'm really excited to get into it. The main things we're going to talk about, I have progress on my cardigan. I'm going to talk about some socks. I finished a few pairs, and then I have this idea and plan for the next several pairs of socks that I'll be making. So I'll be talking about that next, and I believe that's it. So let's get right into it. We're going to do kind of a regular knitting podcast format. First, what I'm wearing, then we'll do finished objects, works in progress. We're not going to do acquisitions today, but then I will talk about my future knitting plans and then a little bit of life stuff at the end. And a little bit about my art and what's going on with that too, just in case you're just here for the knitting videos but you're interested in kind of what's going on with my practice and my shop and stuff. I'll share just a little update on that at the end. So let's get into it with what I'm wearing. It's a hand knit sweater. It's from a long time ago though. It's not new or anything. But I keep forgetting in my videos to share about what I'm wearing, and then I'll have people ask. But this is my first knitted sweater that I ever made. It is the weekend sweater, and I got the pattern like on Etsy somewhere. I'll have to find the pattern and pop it up so that you can see, but it's just a super simple worsted weight raglan. It does have like short row shaping to shape the back neck. I did have like issues with the short row shaping and have some holes in the front, but I don't really care. And it's a cotton, linen, and acrylic blend. So it's like kind of drapey, and it's not scratchy or anything. It's pretty soft, I think, because the cotton and linen, like I've washed this and worn it several times now, and it's pretty soft. And yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's a summer sweater. Here in Texas, I would not wear any kind of sweater during the summer, so it's working well right now as a spring sweater, as it starts to get pretty warm here, but it's still, you know, it's cool in the mornings for the most part and things like that. So this has been a really nice piece for me lately. I definitely get a lot of wear out of it. I would like to replace it at some point with something similar that looks nicer, because I feel like this kind of has, like, it's kind of chunky, it has mistakes, like the fit and everything is not perfect, and I have more knitting experience now, and I would like to make something that's similarly functional but looks even better. And this yarn, also, I didn't buy this yarn. It was at like an estate sale type of thing, but someone in my community had passed and was giving away her yarn to like knitters and weavers in the community. So they said to just come on by and see if there was anything that you thought you could use. And there was a bunch of women there like looking at her yarn and encouraging people to like take stuff to try new projects, and it was a really, really sweet experience. And I had never made a sweater before, and there were so many like big bags of sweater quantities. I believe that she had a yarn store at some point, so she had like a really large stash from like partially stuff that was in her store. But yeah, this came from that. I got a big bag of all of this yarn that I'd never seen the brand before. I'll see if I can find a picture, pop it up. It's definitely something that you can't find anymore, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so I got like 10 balls of that and was able to make this sweater for free, which is amazing. So yeah, just wanted to share a little bit about that. I have talked about this sweater before, but it's been a long time, so that is what I'm wearing. Let's talk finished objects. I do have some. Okay, we'll go through the first ones kind of quickly, because you know how I finish socks and then they just get shipped off and given to people and they disappear, which is great. I mean, that's what I want. I do have some plans soon to make more socks for myself. But if you were here last time, I was working on some like super fiery red orange variegated ribbed socks. Really beautiful. They came out great, and they have been gifted to my friend Oliver. So I don't think I even have a finished object photo of them, but I'll see what I can do. If I have pictures of the yarn or a work in progress or something, I'll show you that. But those are done. They came out great. I love that yarn. It's a merino cashmere nylon, and I have some more skeins of that. My partner gave me 4 skeins of the merino cashmere nylon sock from Destination Yarns, and they're all different planets, and I've used 2 of them. I still have 2 more that I haven't used, but I have leftovers of the 2 that I have used, and I'm looking at like what I can do with those because I really, really love that yarn. Yeah, those are done and gone. It was right before I went on my Arizona trip that I was bringing that pair of socks. I was bringing the shibori blue. Wait. Okay, this is exciting. I do have these. Let me put one on a sock blocker for you. I finished this pair as well, which was the other one that I brought on my Arizona trip. I think I didn't finish either of them on the trip, but I finished both of the pairs like soon after I got home, which was kind of funny. Okay, this is the other pair that I made. Okay, yeah. It said, yeah, I'll focus. Okay, cool. I really like how those came out. I do have 2. I'm a little bit weird about what happened with the cuff. I like folded it over and then I was like, oh, I'll do a few more rows. I don't think I should have done that. I think it would have looked better to just like that color end where the cuff ends. Can you see that? I think so. But not really a big deal. Then I used that same color for the toe. So this main color is the shibori blue color. It's a Yarn Bee colorway, so from Hobby Lobby, that I got just in a D-stash with a bunch of other Yarn Bee colorways that I've been using for gifts and stuff. But I actually made a pair for myself. I'm actually wearing them, so it's perfect. I made like a solid manila pair for myself, and that yarn had plenty left over, and a friend of mine who has just been really interested in my knitting, like she's a crocheter, and it's just like, oh, your socks are so cool. So I figured I would make her a pair, and I was like, well, what kind, you know, would you like? And she wanted blue ankle socks. So I used that shibori blue as the main color, and then this contrast color is from the Ruby and Roses Advent. Yeah, so that is finished object number 2. I'm going to skip how I do my shorty socks. I feel like I've been repeating it every time, but if you're interested, either go back or just ask me and I'll explain it to you in a comment. But yeah, just my shorty sock formula here, and I really like how this came out. So I'm on this trip and I brought backup yarn. So I brought 2 sock projects to work on while we were there, and then I brought another skein in case I finished those so that I could start another pair. And I did not start another pair while we were there, but I did soon after we came back. I finished those off and then started another pair. And I want to talk about this yarn because I made just a pair of vanilla socks and I like how they came out, but I do have some qualms with this yarn. But first, let's admire them. So these, let's see, I'm trying to get a good look. You can tell they have the fade. So this skein of yarn fades from that super light yellow white into this deeper golden yellow, and then has speckles of light purple, light blue, and brighter yellow kind of throughout the whole thing. And I think overall the effect is really cool. And so what happened with how this yarn works, let me find the label for it and I can show you. Okay, here's the label for this yarn. The brand is Lanes du Nord, and this yarn is called Paint Gradient Sock. So there it is. Okay. So I was in January on a trip to Utah to see my sister, and we found a yarn store in Salt Lake City, and I wanted her to pick out yarn so that I could make her socks, because I've been making her socks for kind of a while. I've made her several pairs. But yeah, her birthday's coming up. Wanted her to pick out some sock yarn, and she chose this one. So it makes this gradient from light to dark in the skein, and then in the middle of the skein there's a sharp break where it goes back to the light color again. So I caked this up and cut it. Like, I found that break pretty easily and cut it, and had two cakes, two 50-gram cakes, and made my two socks. And it worked really well. And I like the finished product. I like how they look. My only qualm with this yarn, and if you have used this yarn or even just like felt it and seen it in a store, let me know if you feel the same way. I think that it's not very soft. It has more of a rustic feel, and I just don't think that it feels like as nice as it should, because this skein was $24. Like, that's pretty much the price of a skein of hand-dyed yarn. And it's cool, I like the effect, but it has like the feeling of like Patton's Croix or something like that. Like, it has that more rustic, not super scratchy, but woolly feel. And I think some people are into that, but to me, I associate that with like cheaper yarn, and I was kind of like, I don't know that I would purchase this again. So maybe the superwash treatment on this wool is different. I'm not really sure, but it's 75% wool, 25% nylon, and I definitely think they'll be fine, you know, on your feet and everything. Just something I wanted to note if you're looking at, if you're really like wanting a gradient yarn and we're looking at this one, it doesn't feel soft like a hand-dyed yarn to me personally. I'd love to hear other people's input and everything on that. But yeah, I finished this pair. I like how they came out, and I will be shipping them off to my sister soon, probably today or tomorrow. Those are the finished objects. 3 pairs of socks. That's it. Let's talk about works in progress. I have 3 works in progress too. Let's talk about a sock first, because we've been talking about socks. Let me put this one on a sock blocker, because for this pair I do have one finished. This is another shorty sock, and I am calling these my Sedona socks. Let me show you this sock. Yay! So, okay, see my little saguaro cactus stitch marker? I found, okay, so I went to Arizona with my partner. We visited Phoenix, Tucson, Sedona, and Saguaro National Park, which is right outside of Tucson. It was amazing. It was really an awesome trip. And of course, anytime I travel, I want to go to yarn stores and buy yarn. So we visited Sedona Knitwits. Sedona Knitwits? Yeah. So I was there, and I got 2 mini skeins instead of getting full skeins, just to save on like just money and like adding too much to my stash. And I love using like fun mini skeins with more solid colors in my socks. I just think that's a really fun thing to do, and I have so many good solid and tonal yarns right now. I was like, I'll pick out 1 or 2 mini skeins, and then I can still make socks that remind me of the trip. So that's what I did. I picked out this really wild mini skein color. Like, there's so many colors in there, from like dark blue to orange to pink, yellow, green, brown. It's like so layered and so interesting. And I found this color and I thought of this red orange color that I had bought. I originally bought this red orange color to make a muscle burrow hat for the tomato soup core make along. Well, the tomato soup core make along is long finished and I never made the hat, so this is perfect. And this color reminds me of the red rocks in Sedona. I like how it goes with this crazy color, and shorty socks are just so functional for me. They're so easy to wear. I wear shorty socks all the time, especially in the summer. I can still wear wool socks whenever it's really hot out, but they've got to be shorties. So I definitely want to be making more shorty socks. And yeah, my little saguaro cactus stitch marker is just like a little charm that I got from the Saguaro National Park gift shop. Okay, so I'm working on the second sock for that, and I have just gotten it started. I'm working on the cuff. So I do, for these shorty socks, I knit 10 to 12 rounds and fold over elastic into the cuff before starting the rest of the sock. So I'm just working on that first little section of stockinette before I fold it over. Haven't gotten far on these. I started focusing on those yellow socks so that I could go ahead and get them sent out. But yeah, oh, here's some more details because now that I have the project bag. So the main color is Cascade Heritage Sock. Yeah. And the color number is 5642. That's a really good one, a classic. I use that yarn all the time. This is my mini skein. Like, how pretty is that? And this is from Dream in Color Yarn. So not just Dream. Dream in Color Yarn. It was $9. And this colorway is called Kyoto Sunset. The yarn is Smooshy Cashmere Petite, 88 yards, 70% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, 10% nylon. So yeah, a little super softy, and it does feel really, really soft. Let's move on. Oh, I'll flash this one really quick because I had started this one last time and I have made progress. This purple hat, I have good news. So I was down here, right? This is the Knit Picks Chroma Twist worsted. So it's this like barber pole color changing yarn. And I had started it and I was just to right here, and I was very concerned because there was like a break in one of the plies and I knew there was going to be like a hard line, and that's up here. This one is pretty harsh, but this wasn't actually like a hard break. But this second one was a hard break in one of the plies, and I was like, oh no, that is going to bug me in this hat. But I kept knitting, I kept going for it, and it's awesome because whenever you fold this up, like that line is underneath. Look how good that looks folded up. It's really like a subtle color change effect. So I'm loving this hat again. But I put it on hold. I put it on tried on tubing because I needed these needles for my cardigan to do the sleeve. So that's it for this right now. This is on hold. To the cardigan. And I did what I set out to do with this cardigan. I said I was going to keep working the body until I ran out of yarn in that skein, and then I was going to start a sleeve. And that is what I did. So let me show you kind of how it's looking. Here it is. So this is my sleeve that I've started adding. So it's the same needle that I was using for that that hat. It's a size 5 16-inch circular is what I've started the sleeve on. And yeah, I think it's looking good. I think it'll fit well. I haven't put it on, tried on tubing to see the size of the sleeve, but it looks like it has plenty of room, at least for now. Where's my... I don't think that this marker, so where is it? This marker right here, I don't think that's where I was last time I filmed. I kind of think this is where I was when I came back from Arizona. I think I wanted to mark that to kind of motivate myself to keep going because I didn't have much yarn left. But I can't remember exactly, but let's see. I can measure how much I have under the armpit. It's fairly substantial now. Let's see, like 7 inches or something. From the armpit down to where I ran out of yarn, I've got about 8 inches. And so I'm not sure what I'm gonna end up wanting. I'll have to try it on and see, like 12, 14 total. So that's coming along really well, and I started the sleeve. As a reminder, I should have said this earlier, I'm working the Coven Cardi by Shay Johnson. That's the cardigan pattern that I'm using. I did like some really minor adjustments to the raglan stitches, but not really a big deal. One thing I am doing that is different though is I do want this to have sleeve decreases. I didn't even realize that in this pattern it has the sleeves where you knit straight out and then you do rapid decreases before the cuff, and it gives you a little bit of like a balloon sleeve with like extra room like right here. I don't love that. I think it's really cute. I just think it's like a little bit more feminine than what I want to go for. So I'm just doing some sleeve decreases, kind of like I did on this one, just so it's a little bit tapered but still loose. And then I'll do a little bit more. My plan is just to do some sleeve decreases and then finish the decreases right before the cuff. So I'm just marking what I'm doing so that I can match it on the other sleeve. So let me see if I can get this to where you can see it. Okay, yeah, so this cow, this is where I joined, yeah, like this is where I had the stitches on hold and then picked up for the sleeve. And then I knitted some just straight, okay, we'll be able to see it from here, just straight with no decreases, and then these are my decreases that I'm marking. And so I'm doing a decrease every like 10 rounds, just doing one knit two together, like right after my beginning of round marker. So I'll just have a little line of little decreased bumps under the arm. The beginning of round marker like lands like right in the middle of the armpit, so I'll just have some little decreases going that way. And I'm pretty positive that it won't be the full amount that is needed, and then I can just do the rest at the end. And if it has a little bit of a poof at the end, I'm fine with that. I just figured this would be really simple to mark it that way and then match it on the other side. So that is what I'm doing for the sleeve, and it's coming along great. I haven't been working on the sleeve for very long, so I think that it should go fairly quickly if I can focus on this again, because the past few days I have just been like marathon knitting on those yellow socks so that I could send them to my sister. But yeah, I'm really loving how this is coming out. The yarn is Barocco Vintage, and the colorway is called like Fern. I'll put the colorway and the color number up, but I love this colorway. It is very, like, it's kind of olive-y, between like an olivey green and like a Kelly green, but it has these like heathered parts that are more like brownish gold. So it's hard to see that like heathering, but you can see how it's like pretty bright. but still kind of a neutral-ish green. Yeah, kind of hard to explain, but I love a heathered yarn, and this yarn is part acrylic, part wool, part nylon, so I'm feeling pretty confident that I'll be able to machine wash it, like partially dry it and then lay it out, partially dried in the dryer and then lay it out to finish drying. That's kind of my care plan for this. It's 52% acrylic, 40% wool, 8% nylon. So yeah, I think that's something that is going to work really well for me. I love the idea of having like really nice wool garments, but for me, having something that is machine washable is just going to be a lot easier for me to wear all the time. And I think I see this piece being something that I throw on all the time. My cardigans that I use now, I have two. They're both thrifted cardigans that are just like loose. One of them is like green and white and black, and one of them is like black and white and gray. And I want this to kind of replace those, and I have to be able to wash it. So I feel good about my yarn choice. It was affordable. The balls of this, or the skeins of this, were $10 each for 100 grams. So I bought 5, $50 for a cardigan's worth of worsted weight yarn. That's pretty good. Yeah, so I'm feeling really good about that project, and just looking forward to putting in some more work on it, because I really put it on hold. I mean, whenever I went to Arizona for a week, I didn't bring it. I only brought sock projects, and then I've started that sleeve since coming back. So I think having that be my TV knitting again and getting back into the flow of working on that, I think that by next time I record in 2 weeks or so, I should have a significant amount of that cardigan done, which I am very excited about. Yeah. Okay, so for the last part of the podcast, I just want to talk a little bit about some plans that I have coming up for my knitting, because I have been feeling very like kind of overwhelmed by not really my stash, but my scraps and leftovers. I have a significant amount of scraps and leftovers from socks that I'm really wanting to use them. I like them. It's yarns that I really enjoyed using the first time that I want to keep using. I have started a crochet granny square blanket, and that is really cool, and I like using my scraps for that, but it's not enough. I also can't crochet for very long at a time. I really can only do 1 or 2 of those little squares a day, so I don't want to like be like, oh, I gotta work on that blanket and use up scraps and like hurt my hand or something. So what I think is going to be good for me, and what my kind of plan is for the next few weeks in terms of sock knitting, is to have a shorty sock, scrappy shorty sock knitting party. So I'll try to get some footage or some photos of some of these scraps and leftovers that I have that I'm thinking about. I've been having a lot of fun pairing them up, different like minis or smaller scraps with larger bits of leftovers, to make new sock set combinations. And I've been wearing my shorty socks that I have so much, but I only have 3 pairs of shorty socks that are in that formula that I really love to wear and that fit me really well. I have other pairs of shorty socks that I just don't like as much. And since I have perfected my shorty sock formula, I've only made 3 pairs for myself. So in the next few weeks, I want to make at least, I'd say I could probably do 4 more pairs would be a good goal, because I'm working on that pair of Sedona socks, and that will be part of it whenever I finish those. So finishing those and then doing like 3 more pairs of shorty socks in the next few weeks is going to be kind of my goal. And I'm going to also make it part of the goal to not wind up any full skeins, but to only use leftovers, scraps, and I could also get into my mini skeins. So that's the plan. If that's something that you're interested in like joining me on, definitely leave me a comment or send me a message. You can send me a message on Instagram, and I would love to hear about what you're working on, and if you want to join in on the like working through some of your scraps and leftovers. I think that'd be really fun if literally anyone else wants to do that with me. Yeah, that's kind of the plan, is work on the cardigan and work on shorty socks for myself. I am taking a little bit of a break from birthday socks. I don't have anyone else coming up for a little while. And you know what else really made me think, oh, I really want to make more shorty socks for myself? I've been watching Summer Lee on YouTube. She is a sock knitting pattern designer, and she has started doing a podcast and doing videos on YouTube, and she has an entire set of drawers, like a chest, what do you call it? Like dresser. She has a dresser just for socks, and it's full of hand knit socks and some hand knit hats. Like, it is full of hand knits that all just embody like her style and her designs and her color preferences, and it's so beautiful. And I was like, that could be me. I would love to have more socks for myself and have more options and have more colors, and I have the yarn. I just keep making socks for other people, which is really fun for me, but I'm just feeling right now the motivation to make more for myself, especially because I want to wear shorty socks and I only have a few pairs. I do feel like I have a gap at this point. I don't feel like I have too many socks. I feel like I have kind of not enough whenever it comes to shorty socks. So for the next probably 2 weeks, I'm going to be making shorty socks for myself, and in the next episode I will be able to update you all on how many I was able to make and kind of how that goes and what I'm finding in my leftover and scrap yarn piles. So yeah, that's it. That's all the knitting. Those are the plans. Those are the projects. I'm feeling so good about it. It's warming up. It's springtime, but I think that has not really slowed me down. The stuff that I've been making isn't like super wintry. Even this cardigan, because it's still, the weather's still cool for the most part, I still, like, if I finish it in the next few weeks, I'll be able to wear it a few times before it gets too hot for wool. And yeah, I'm feeling really good about that, and also thinking a little bit about tanks and t-shirts that I might want to make after I finish the cardigan, but I'm gonna not worry about that until, you know, after. I'm not sure how long it'll take. But yeah, just excited about shorty socks and my cardigan and just knitting in general. And I wanted to record, so that's it. Before I wrap up the episode, I'll talk a little bit about life and a little bit about my art practice and what's going on with that. So I went to Arizona, I talked about that, but it was a really amazing trip. I'll put up a few photos from our hiking and traveling that we did. It was really amazing. We did some good long hikes. We did a few like 6-ish mile hikes. One in Phoenix, one in Sedona, and then we did a few different hikes in Saguaro National Park. And it was really beautiful. Each of those places was very different, which was cool. A lot of cactuses, cool like rock formations. We saw a lot of birds and yeah, a lot of cactuses. It was really cool. I did a lot of like sketching and painting while I was there, which I'm gonna have a video coming out very soon, if not posted before this one. I'm not sure which one's gonna make it up first, but it will be all the art that I made in February, and it will include all of the sketches and drawings and paintings that I did on that trip. That will be coming up really soon if you're interested in my art making videos. But yeah, the trip was amazing. I had my birthday while we were out there. I got delicious vegan pasta for my birthday, and yeah, I have returned home safely, and my mom came to Texas to visit and stayed with us for a few days, and that was really fun too. Like, she wanted to see me for my birthday, so we kind of kept celebrating my birthday. Had a really great time with her. This was one of the highlights of my week and my birthday and everything. I received my first pair of birthday socks from another knitter. My aunt made me a pair of birthday socks, and I almost cried. It was really so sweet, because, you know, I love celebrating other people's birthdays and giving people socks, and I make myself socks, but receiving someone else's hand-knit socks just felt really special, because I know how long it takes to make a pair of socks, and they're really beautiful, squishy, textured, like really warm, tall socks, and they are awesome. I've worn them around the house some, so I'm not gonna like show them. They're kind of dirty. But yeah, that was really, really special. And yeah, I'm looking forward to like getting more people involved in like knitting with me. I feel like I've had more and more people want to learn to knit. I taught a knitting workshop recently and taught some people how to knit. And I just want to like kind of build that community here in San Antonio a little bit more, like get more people connected to the craft and everything. Yeah, that's kind of it for life stuff, I think. For my art practice, everything is going really well. Thank you to anyone who watches this who has just like said supportive things about my art, or if you've purchased anything like that. It really means so much to me. I did a market the other day at a brewery. It was for International Women's Day, to support a local nonprofit called Periods, SATX, and they collect pads and tampons and distribute them to people who are in need of them. I did this market. There were nonprofits there. There were mutual aids and other female like small business owners, and it was a really great event. It was more just busy and popular than I was kind of expecting. I sold one of my original pieces, a smaller piece called Wedding Tablescape, which was popular and stuff. Like whenever I was making it, I got good, you know, comments like on Instagram and stuff, and I was really excited to have that piece go to the home of someone who really liked it. So sold an original and some stickers and talked to people about doing paintings for them, like pet portraits and stuff like that. So hopefully I will get some orders from those people who I talked to. And yeah, it was really fun. What's kind of coming up next for the art stuff, I'm really trying to get some prints made of my original paintings. I have done prints before, but I'm not like loving the quality of my older prints. So I found a printer, like a printing company here in San Antonio. They're like a national company, but they happen to be headquartered and do their printing here in San Antonio. And I have ordered some sample prints from them. I've received them. So I'm going to make some adjustments to some of the colors. I'm going to add some more that I also want to get printed and get more sample prints, start getting the kind of real ones, and get multiples of prints. And at some point in April, I will be releasing a lot of options for prints, which will be a really great way for people to support me. It's more affordable than like commissioning a painting or something like that. And I like to collect prints from artists. I think other people will like that too, and I'm excited to share that with everyone. So yeah, if you are interested in my art practice, visit my website, alexhayschapel.com, and get on my newsletter. It will pop up and say like put your email in for my newsletter, or you can, if you accidentally X out of that or you don't see it, go down to the bottom and put your email in, because I send out an email newsletter once a month with just what's going on in my shop, if I have new things, if I have events. So that'd be a great place to hear about it if you're interested in getting a print whenever I have those available. I'll be sending out a newsletter at the beginning of April. But yeah, that is all for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting my work. Thank you for supporting my channel. Give this video a like, subscribe if you feel like it, if you think you want to stick around, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!